Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope your week has been going well. Welcome, one and all, to our Nikken University Book Club. We are reading a fantastic book called The Answer by John Assaraf and John Murray. And we are looking at the idea, how can I access unlimited abundance? However you define it, whatever that means to you, that's our objective. Last week, we were talking about the law of attraction, and your homework was to answer this question. What's an action that I can take this week based on something I learned from chapter three? And I really like the idea of the 0 point field. I was aware of some of these concepts from quantum mechanics, but the idea that the quantum field of infinite potential influenced by thought, that's a real thing. It's called the 0 point field. And it's essentially an unlimited space beneath the layer of matter itself that is unlimited potential and possibility. And in chapter three, and this is where I got this, it's almost described in some ways as an iceberg, and we can only really see the tip. Most of what exists is below the surface, this unlimited field of potential, of possibility, the 0 point field. And in chapter three, and so I got this and I reflected on this image. I had it the right way. We should think about it this way, right? But we don't. We think about the universe this way, which is the wrong way to think about it. So, anyways, I looked at this image. It's the first time I've picked it up upside down to reflect on it. But I looked at that image to think about this unlimited field of possibility. And I also used another concept. You remember in chapter three, we talked about the acorn and how it turns into a mighty oak. And the question, what's the cause? What's the cause of that mighty oak? And we might think that it's the acorn. I made this picture. ChatGPT helped me to make this picture, but it's not the acorn that creates the oak. The acorn is just a set of instructions. The acorn is just the cause. It's the cause of the oak. Um, and this idea, you must be the cause, the DNA of your success, and that you must gather the soil, the water, the sunlight, the nourishment. You must gather everything to create. So you are just the DNA. You are just the set of instructions for whatever you're working to create. And you must gather things from the universe, from your environment itself, in order to make that happen. So I thought about that a lot and I reflected on these two images. That's what I chose to do. I would like you to share with your group. Talk about the homework that you experienced, the decision you made to use something from chapter uh, three and the discussion, uh, chapter three. What was the action that you will take this week based on something you learned from chapter three? That's what you're going to share with your group. We're going to break up into groups of three people. So it'll be about 2 minutes or so for each person to talk about their action and what it was they did and the experience they had. I think I'm going to have one room that will have four. So one room will have four, all the other rooms will have three people. But when you get the prompt, just join your room. And again, what you're sharing is the homework you had for last week. What was the idea you took from chapter three and the action you took based on that idea? Something that you decided to do based on something you learned. Mine was kind of a reflection activity. Yours perhaps is different, but whatever you chose to do is fine. Anybody have any questions about what they're sharing with their group? I'll let you know when 2 minutes has gone by, and then the next 2 minutes, and then the last person. So each person, it can be more conversational, but I'll just send those messages so you can kind of keep track and make sure that one person doesn't take all 6 minutes. Anyone have any questions? Okay, go ahead and join your room. Enjoy your conversation talking about the homework from last week. So I really did enjoy doing the exercise last week. I really liked the concept of pressures. Do you want to join your group? Precious, you are in room 5. There we go. Everybody's joined. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed the images that I chose and reflecting upon that concept, that idea. I'm going to step out for just a second while I keep track of the time for each of the groups. But if you want to think about and reflect on your homework, you can do that. But I need to be working on something else um, while they're away. Michelle, I'm going to put you back in room 6.
Where is everybody?
Hi, Nancy. You came back early. Did
I
you need?
did. I saw it and I clicked it. Oh,
Yeah, everyone else waits until they're forced back. You come back early sometimes. It's okay.
I just clicked the wrong button. Okay. Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. Someone tell me something they shared or something they learned that was really cool that somebody experienced or did last week, because we can't list. There's 8 groups, so we can't listen in on each other's conversations, sadly. Anybody want to share? Bela.
So what I decided was I was trying to create a website through AI for the last few weeks, and I was getting very, very overwhelmed about the semantics, about how to present it, like all the technical stuff. And so what I went back to doing was I decided during my daily meditation practice, I was going to contemplate about clarity and focus. And so, what I went back to doing before I started my meditation each day, I sat with clarity and focus that this is what I'm looking for. How do I find it? And what happened during each day's meditation was phenomenal because I was able to focus on my why. Why do I want to create this website? Who is it for? So, how will I attract those people? And how am I planning to support them and fulfill their needs? What are they looking for? Providing a safe environment while they are healing. And it was amazing the downloads I received every day through my meditation. So I now have a page in concept of what I want to say on my landing page for my website without AI. I will, of course, run it through AI to edit it and all, but I have what I really needed to connect with people, with the ultimate users of the website, because mine is not going to be just Nikken; it's going to be some other things too.
Awesome. Yeah, and
So
most people who are in Nikken have a mission that's even bigger than
exactly,
Nikken.
exactly,
Nikken is a component of a mission that's much larger. That's
correct.
pretty cool. There are times when we meditate to stop thinking, and there are times when we meditate to clarify thinking. And it's really cool that during that meditative process, you were consciously choosing your thoughts, which
Mhm.
is all about what chapter 4 is about as well. But we keep going back to that idea. But
Yeah.
Bela, thank you for sharing that.
You.
Anyone else want to share about what they heard in their group or what they shared in their group that was interesting? Yes. Precious, please share with us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Yes,
Good.
I'll share what I shared with my group. I'm really enjoying reading this book. I told them that it's really helping me to identify and see some, I wouldn't say errors, but just see some things that have helped me grow and develop differently within my business. My The thing that stood out to me was the gestation period. And it stood out to me because I'm from the generation of us wanting it now and fast. And I mean, I've been a little frustrated, like with some of the things within my own. I'm a nurse and I also have a holistic wellness business and a nonprofit. And I've been frustrated because I'm like, okay, where are the people? Where are the customers? Where are the clients? Where? And I realized that you plant the seed, but it takes lots of sun and it takes lots of things to grow it, lots of things around you to grow it, and everything that you need is already around you. But in timing, the gestation period. So in this gestation period, I've learned that I need to sit down and focus and bring clarity to what it is I specifically want for each one of those separate things, because I speak to, the nonprofit is for the youth and the holistic wellness is for, just everyone in general. And I had to actually sit down with my mission that I wrote in the beginning and with my core values that I put together in the beginning. And I had to actually come back to them and realize, okay, these are two separate things. What do you want to achieve through this? What do you want to achieve through that? So those are things that I've been focusing on this week, just trying to go back to the beginning when I originally wrote my vision and my core values for both. So that's what I shared.
Cool, precious, thank you. That chapter 3, could be a year-long workshop. That concept you just shared of the gestation period and learning to be patient and to, just like with the Chinese bamboo, to keep watering and watering and watering. The reason I chose the acorn and the oak. Well, one, I love oak trees, but also I like that concept that my dream, whatever it encompasses, it is not inside the seed. That's just the directions, the DNA. It exists outside, and there are many resources and things that I may need to draw on to make the dream in the seed happen. Precious, thank you for sharing that component. So lots of great stuff in chapter 3. This week we read chapter 4, and another really powerful chapter with lots of great ideas. The universe inside your brain. And Albert Einstein, while he and some of his compatriots were looking at the universe that existed outside of us, scientists over primarily the last couple of decades with advanced resonance imaging, MRIs, and all different kinds of scans, CAT scans, and et cetera. They have been exploring the inner world of the brain, and they've made some amazing discoveries. They've been able to actually watch the brain think in real time, and our brain is truly amazing. I think if you've done any study, any basic biology course, medical course, people who are in careers in medicine understand this, but our brain is divided into different parts that are focused on different things. Our reptilian brain basically tells us to breathe and eat and keeps us alive. And our mammalian brain is a little more developed and advanced. It has to do with things like relationships. Elephants are actually in family groups. And then we have the advanced modern brain, and the brain that makes us the unique people, unique creatures that we are. And it's primarily the frontal lobe that distinguishes us, our brains, from any of these other brains, reptilian, mammalian, or any other creature's brain. And it's within the frontal lobe that so much of the magic takes place. And there are 6 concepts that our authors discuss, that really are unique to human beings. As someone who has a complex thinking brain that the frontal lobe helps us to provide, it's the conscious and unconscious brain, that lobe, not just one, but both, the conscious and the unconscious, or non-conscious, uh, as John Assaraf pronounces it. But it contains the will, so our desire to do, to compete, to make things happen. Excuse me. Yeah, the will. It contains memory, the ability to store memories and to remember what has happened in the short term, the long term. Our perception, our ability to perceive things and to understand, and sometimes we perceive things differently, obviously. Our ability to reason or to communicate in a way that is logical, to look at the world in logical, not confrontational terms. Our ability to intuit, to have intuition, to kind of sense, to kind of have this deeper thinking that we don't always understand. Einstein said the only real valuable thing is intuition. And then finally, perhaps one of the highest levels of thinking or ability within our frontal lobe is imagination. So those 6 coming together kind of set us apart from other members of the animal kingdom or other living things. There's a concept that's put forward called the grand fallacy. Do you remember this little puzzle he gives us? There are 6 frogs and they're on a lily pad, and one decides to jump off. If you know the answer, put it in the chat. Chat is open. Hey, chat. Chad, I need to hear from you. Precious gets this. Most of you don't, but all right, chat. I'm gonna need you to kick it into gear. Chat. Yeah, right. Okay, so you read the chapter six. So lots of sixes. So yes, the frog decided to jump off. Did he actually take action and jump off? No. It was only a decision, but the frog didn't follow through and actually do something. You've got to actually place your order, right? You've got to not just think about what you want. You have to actually place the order in the restaurant, and the order has to be delivered to the kitchen so it can be made. A really interesting fact that's shared or idea that's shared, it's this 2 to 4% that everything that we think about or make decisions over, it's only 2 to 4% where we actually do something. So we think about a lot of things, but it's actually a tiny, tiny amount where we actually end up following through and doing something about it. And it's here where John Assaraf kind of drops the bomb is that the problem is we primarily rely on our incredibly limited conscious brain. That's where we spend most of the time in our conscious brain, living, thinking, making decisions, doing stuff. The problem is it's not our conscious brain that creates miracle or magic or imaginations or really empowers us to act consistently in a consistent way. It's actually our non-conscious or unconscious brain that does most of the heavy lifting. So anybody who was part of our last book club about self-talk gets this, is that your self-talk, what you're saying to yourself most of the time, doesn't come from your conscious thoughts or the world around you. They rise up from the unconscious or non-conscious brain. And most of your self-talk is what you have programmed yourself to think about consistently most of the time, the thoughts that you have most of the time. And that's what the magnificent non-conscious brain is. It's your patterns of belief and thinking and consistent ways of understanding and conceiving. And it's in the non-conscious brain that most of our actual actions come from. So oh wow, I'm really feeling exhausted and having a ton of anxiety, and I'm just not feeling good and I'm not feeling supported. And oh, I know, I'll go to the grocery store and get an entire chocolate cake and eat it all because then I will feel better. Because our unconscious brain is, when I'm having problems, I relieve the anxiety instantly, right? With something that makes me feel better. Worst case scenario, alcohol or drugs. Best case scenario, talking to a friend. Somewhere in the middle, eating an entire gallon of ice cream or a quart or 2 quarts. Um, but our magnificent non-conscious brain, if it's working correctly, says to us, you know what, you're feeling down, you're feeling tired, but guess what? There are better ways to deal with this. Go for a walk around the block, come back, draw yourself a hot bath, take a nice relaxing hot bath, and then make a salad or chop up some fruit, something that really gives you some good energy, maybe have some protein. Our non-conscious brain creates our habits, most of the habits that we experience on a regular basis over and over and over again. And it's important to realize that these habits and also these beliefs, they come from not our conscious brain. They come from our non-conscious brain. And if we want to tap into the power of the quantum universe, this point zero fields, this place where pure potential and probability exists that we can take action on through our thoughts, then our unconscious brain is going to need to be in control or is going to need to be in charge of our brain more often. And the way that we do that is by not letting our conscious brain be in charge, because our conscious brain is probably guided by our unconscious brain, which may not be what we want it to be, which means we have to choose our thoughts. How often as we can, because choosing our thoughts is going to program our non-conscious brain. This is what we learned in self-talk. We need to be careful about what we say to ourselves consistently and consciously, because the way to take advantage of our non-conscious, our magnificent non-conscious brain, is to choose our thoughts consistently and consciously. So I'm going to put you back into your groups, and I want you to have a short 5-minute discussion. Discuss as your group. What did you learn from this chapter, from chapter 4, that really resonated with you or you found to be empowering? I'm going to put you back into the same groups again. So you'll be back with your same group members. And it's just a conversation. Just, I'll give you 6 minutes. It's a conversation. What did you learn? What resonated with you from chapter 4? Something that really um, was meaningful. The 2 to 4% was really powerful to me, and I think that's true. Out of everything I do think about, what I actually put into action and do, it's really a small percentage. And I think the way I change that is I need to be focused on and thinking about consciously and then unconsciously what I want to have happening, what I want to have occur. And that means focusing on making my unconscious brain work for me. And that's by choosing my thoughts a lot more often. So I'll put you back into your groups, have a discussion. What did you learn from chapter 4 that resonated with you, that you found powerful? Go ahead and join your group. So everybody has joined their group, and it's just you and I again. I did really like this idea of the 2 and the 4%. Here's the grand fallacy. We all think that our wonderful conscious functions control what we do, but they don't. For in all its brilliance, the conscious mind has one huge handicap. It doesn't get things done in the long term. It may be the captain of the ship, but it's the guy in the engine room who actually makes the ship go, not the captain. In fact, here's how much control our conscious functions exert over what we actually do, somewhere between 2 and 4%. That's it. So it's actually our unconscious mind, our magnificent non-conscious brain, that really makes the world go round, that makes things happen. I'm going to write something for the group. So people will be coming back in just a second. Hopefully you found something from the chapter that really resonated with you. There are a lot of really great ideas, many that can be considered thought on to kind of magnify the benefit that you're getting from the book, the things that are proving to be useful and worthwhile. Have everybody back with us in about 2 more minutes, and then we'll finish the book club. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a good discussion that was beneficial with your group. So you, each and every one of you, undoubtedly, for sure, have an amazing brain. Your frontal lobe allows you to do fantastic things. One of those is that a non-conscious brain exists that controls so much of your thinking, your thought patterns, processes, and as a result, what you end up actually doing on a regular and a consistent basis. So the homework for this week, the idea is what is an action that you'll take that will tap into the power of your non-conscious mind? So what is something that you will do on a regular or consistent basis that will allow you to shape, to influence not just your conscious mind, what you're thinking in the present moment, but to influence your non-conscious mind. And it does require us normally to take control of the conscious mind in the moment and to direct, to not just think whatever is passing in front of our mind or whatever's in front of us in the TV or the person who's talking to us at that moment, but to literally take control of the mind and direct our thoughts. The choice that I'm going to make is I'm going to do something similar to what Bela mentioned, and I'm going to meditate for 5 minutes. And it's going to be a guided meditation that I will guide myself. So rather than just, deep breaths and letting my mind go clear, which is something that people do in meditation where they just choose to not think, I'm going to focus, I'm going to visualize on the life that I'm creating over the next 5 months specifically. So I'm going to think about my most important priorities for August, September, October, November, December. I'm going to focus not beyond that, just on the next 5 months. And for 5 minutes, I will think really consciously, really clearly. I'll direct my thought patterns. And I think if I do that, for 7 days and then continue that practice, it will affect more and more my non-conscious mind in a powerful way. Paula,
Can you put that last slide up again? I didn't get
for the
the
homework,
yeah.
yes. So the homework for this week, what's an action you will take over the next 7 days to tap into the power of your non-conscious mind? So, some kind of a strategy, action, thought process, activity, exercise that was influenced by chapter 4, something that you could do that will help you tap into the power of your non-conscious mind over the next, the next week. So do make an effort to do that. Did an idea come to anybody um, while you were listening to me or while you were reading the homework? Anybody have something that they're clear that they're going to be doing? Michelle, do you want to share with the group?
Thank you, Jeff. As we were talking in our breakout um, room, it came to mind, slow down to speed up.
Slow down to speed up. What do you think that means?
Me? What do I
Yeah.
think that means?
Sure.
Slow down, take a breath, relax. And sometimes life can become overwhelming.
Mhm.
So at that point, slow down, relax, meditate if you need to, whatever. Tap into your subconscious mind. What is my next step? And then move forward.
That's fantastic. Yeah, if we're feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, burnt out, non-productive, less efficient, whatever the feeling, emotion might be, recognizing this is how I'm feeling, and then do something specific to center yourself, help yourself to focus, to slow down, to gain more clarity, to release those emotions, those feelings, and do that as a conscious practice to influence your unconscious or your non-conscious practice that's coming, and to allow yourself to speed up because you'll be able to, right? Once you have centered yourself, it's like then you can reset. I've reset myself and I'm now ready to tackle. And whether that process is 5 minutes, half an hour, I've started using the Pomodoro technique all the time now. It's where you work for 25 minutes, rest for five, work for 25 minutes, rest for five. It is awesome. I used to sit and just pound stuff out for 3 hours during my master's program. Um, and what I decided to do, especially in the final stretch, is break it up. 25 minutes work, 5 minutes relax. 25 minutes work, 5 minutes relax. So I love this slow down so you can then speed up. Slow down for 5 minutes, speed up for 25. Anna, that's what I was doing. Michelle, you might be doing something different. Anna, you're muted, Anna. Go ahead and start over. Unmute yourself and then start again.
Sorry, I forget that it keeps muting every time. Um, what I'm going to do is take the time to consciously create the thoughts that will serve my business and write them out in statements. And each day do a new one to create and then record it and play it each night.
I love it. Yeah, listening to a recording of your own voice or a friend's voice or voice can be from anywhere, but that's a really powerful concept. And for many people, recording and listening in your own voice is a great way to reinforce those ideas, those thoughts that when you are thinking them more and more consistently seep down to the non-conscious mind and can really empower you. Anna, thank you. So, a reminder to everybody next week, August 20th, we do have the meeting each week. I'll let you know the week before if we ever have to skip a week. 5:35, so we'll start at 35 minutes after just to make sure that we've shut down the other meeting room, the brand night, which is a really important meeting, and I never want to close it prematurely. So we'll make sure that everybody is logged out and we finish that. And we can start the new meeting right at 5:35. And next week, chapter 5, how to change your mind. Remember your homework, the self-identified action. So you're coming up with some way to tap into the power of your non-conscious mind. You've heard some good examples. I'm going to do a visualization for 5 minutes to help me to do that. Remembering we are figuring out how can I access unlimited abundance, whatever that might be for you today. Somebody asked me a question today, a young person. Are you a millionaire? They asked me that question. And I didn't say yes, but I didn't quite know how to answer it because they were a younger person. I didn't know what I wanted to say to them. But everybody has a different concept of what abundance is, what it might mean to them. And if abundance means being a millionaire to you or a billionaire, because I've heard a Nikken consultant tell me that their goal is to be responsible for $1 billion in sale. And I have no doubt that this individual, wants to make it happen. So whatever abundance means to you, I think the universe can respond and can make that happen for you. So thanks everybody for being with us tonight. We'll see everyone soon.